Hi friends, I am Payal Dutta and in today's video we are going to study the poem I Remember by Thomas Hood. So if you are new to my channel, I welcome you all and please subscribe to my channel. So let us read the poem. So from the very title of the poem, we can see that the poet recollects something from his past. He states that he remembers something that has already taken place. So, we readers from the very title understand that this poem has something to do with the memories of the speaker, something that the speaker has already experienced in his past. Therefore, it is a nostalgic poem. It is a poem about remembering. It is a poem about recollecting. Recollecting what? Recollecting the childhood days of the speaker. So now let us read the poem. I remember the house where I was born. So in the very opening lines of the poem, the speaker makes it very clear that he remembers the house where he was born. So this tells us that the speaker is thinking about his childhood days, the days of innocence, the little window where the sun came peeping in the morn. So the house where the speaker was born had a small little window. And in the morning, what happened? The beams of sunlight entered the room through that little window. It seemed that the sun was peeping inside the room. So we can say that the sun here has been personified. This is an example of a personification. Now, what is a personification? A personification is a figure of speech where human qualities are attributed to non-living things. Here, the sun is the non-living thing. But the speaker says that the sun used to peep. So peeping is a human quality. Therefore, the sun here has been personified. Now notice that when the speaker is talking about the sun peeping in the morning, he seems to be joyful. He speaks about the mischievous activities of the sun. So we can say that the speaker's childhood was very pleasant. It was carefree. Then the speaker says, he never came a wink too soon. That is, the sun was always on time. Now, I want you to pause the video and quickly comment in the comment below the difference between in time and on time. Now the sun in the poem was on time, nor brought too long a day. That is, the punctual sun. It not only rose on time, but also set on time. It neither appeared before time, nor did it stay longer than it should. The sun set on time. But now the speaker is old. Now refers to his present age, his adulthood, an age where the speaker has lost his innocence. Here the speaker is lamenting and saying, but now I often wish that night had borne my breath away. So now the speaker is unhappy, he is dissatisfied with his adolescence, with his adulthood, and he craves to die. He wishes to die. Often means quite regularly. So the thought of dying comes regularly in the speaker's mind. So in the first stanza of the poem, which begins with a cozy atmosphere, it begins with childhood innocence. It begins with the morning sun. But as the stanza ends, there is a shift in the tone. From the morning sun, the readers are taken to the darkness of the night. So, the bright side of childhood has gone, and the darkness of adulthood makes the speaker lament. Lament to such an extent that he wishes to die. He wishes that the night took his breath away. Now, the second stanza begins with the same phrase. I remember, I remember. This is an example of an anaphora. Now, what is an anaphora? Anaphora is a figure of speech where you have the repetition of phrases in every line or every stanza. So here you see that all the stanzas of the poem begins with the phrase I remember, I remember. So this is an example of an anaphora. Now what does the speaker remember in the second stanza? I remember, the rose is red and white, the violets and the lily cups, those flowers made of light. So here the speaker goes back to his childhood days and he remembers the flowers that bloomed around him. You see, his childhood was very lively. He was brought up in a very lively atmosphere, surrounded by nature, enveloped with happiness. The flowers made of light. Now this is like a metaphor. The blooming flowers metaphorically refers to the uplifting memories of the speaker. Just the way the flowers bloomed, the memories bloomed in the speaker's mind. So here we see that though these flowers were delicate, they imbibed a sense of beauty. They had a certain richness in them. We see that the speaker's garden was filled with colorful flowers. Then, what does the speaker say? The lilacs where the robins built. Here the speaker creates a visual imagery of the building of a nest by a robin bird among the lilac trees. So just the way the robin built its nest on the lilacs, the poet built his childhood memories in nature. Here the poet shows the comforting side of nature, the nurturing side of nature. So, just where the lilacs were planted, the speaker's brother had planted a laburnum tree. And where my brother set the laburnum on his birthday, the tree is yet living. Here we come to know that the speaker's brother, he had planted a laburnum tree near the lilacs. Now his brother has died, but the tree is living yet. Now this reminds us of Toru Dutt's poem, Our Casuarina Tree, where the casuarina tree reminded Toru Dutt of her dead siblings. So similarly, in this poem, the laburnum tree reminded the speaker of his deceased brother. And so here we see the nostalgic tone of the poem. The fact that the laburnum is still living shows that the garden is still a very harmonious place. I remember where I used to swing. So the third stanza also opens with the same phrase. It opens describing the carefree life of the speaker. He remembers his childhood when he used to swing freely and thought the air must rush as fresh to swallows on the wing. So here the speaker is saying that while swinging, he felt the air rush past him, as fresh to swallows on the wing. Now this is a simile. The speaker here compares the feeling of the air that touches him while swinging to the fresh air experienced by the swallow birds as they fly. Swallows on wings refers to the flying movement of the swallow birds. My spirits flew in feathers then. Then here refers to the speaker's childhood days. So in his childhood days, the speaker's spirit, his lively spirit, it flew in the air just like the swallow birds. This shows that he enjoyed freedom. He experienced joy in his childhood. But now things are different. How is it different? The speaker that flew during his childhood, that is so heavy now. Now refers to the present. It refers to the speaker's adulthood. In his adult stage, these feathers are burdened. Burdened with what? Burdened with responsibilities. They are heavy with the duties. His happiness has been swallowed. And summer pools could hardly cool the fever in my brows. So here the speaker is saying that even the refreshing summer pools cannot calm his internal sadness. The phrase, fever on my brow, this indicates how helpless he is in his adulthood. Not even something that is as soothing as the pools in summer can pacify his emotional struggle, the struggle he is facing in his adulthood. Now we come to the final stanza of the poem. I remember the fir trees dark and high. So the speaker remembers the fir trees which he saw in his childhood. And when he saw these trees, what did he think? I used to think their slender tops were close against the sky. So he thought that the slender tops, that is the slim tops of the fir trees, they were close to heavens. So here the speaker is showing how innocent his thoughts were. But now he is an adult, and so he has realized that those thoughts were merely childish ignorance. He says it was a childish ignorance, that is, it is his childish innocence that made him think in that way. But now the little joy to know. So now he has the knowledge of the world. His little joys have faded. He realizes that he is now farther off from heaven. That is, his ability to reason out things has distanced him from heavens than when I was a boy. So all the previous perceptions that he had as a boy, as a child, they have been shattered. The speaker here is saying that his childish ignorance connected him to the heavens. But now his experience, his knowledge, his ability to reason has taken away his joys. So the last 3 lines of the poem, they are highlighting a sense of melancholy. Now the speaker is longing for pure joy, the happiness that he found in his childhood, the optimism of his youth. His joys have been replaced by disappointments, and so he yearns to give up. He wishes that the night had borne my breath away. So with this, we come to the end of today's video. If this poem is clear to you, then please participate in the quiz that is given in the description below. And if you have any queries, feel free to write them in the comments below. I will definitely reply. Till then, subscribe to my channel and ta-da!